We just saw a screening of your veterans movie. The title of it?
Veterans Unforgotten Memories.
Okay. What? This is a pretty moving movie. What inspired you to put this together?
Well, I've always been interested in veterans, but I think it was Les James from the Miwok tribe. When I first interviewed him for the Miwok film, he talked about himself being a veteran. And so later on, when he knew that his days were numbered, he wanted to document what he did in the service. And I think that's when it really started. Because he was the first one. He was the first one I interviewed. And then it went on from there.
I'm a vet, and I've I know a lot of these people. We've drank beer together. I've never heard these stories. In my experience, vets don't seem to talk about what they've done or where they've been. How did you get them to come out on camera?
Well, you have to gain some trust, and it's very hard. One gentleman, I'm not going to say who because he wouldn't want you to know, but he didn't want to say much. It's funny. I was told that he wanted to be interviewed, and when I got there, it was like, why are you here? And so I let him tell his story, which was nothing. It was just name, rank, and serial number. And then as I started to take down the cameras, I said, well, was there anybody who you remember that you admired that, maybe had a good story to tell? And then he talked about his friend who got killed in an accident. And so all of a sudden, there we go. You got to see this real guy tell a real story. And afterwards, he goes, well, you're not going to make me look like a sap, are you? And everybody seemed to be, when they see this film, they think it's great, And so you have to gain their trust, and you have to, protect them. I mean, you go through, the footage. I mean, each interview is probably maybe an hour and a half long, maybe. And so you go through and you cut, and you're only going to have 3 minutes of it. So you don't want them to look like a fool, So you cut out the things that you think would not help them. But one gentleman was telling stories that I go, I don't know if I'll put this in here, and I put it in there because it really is. It's very moving, very emotional what he had to say.
Mm-hmm. What have you learned from all this? You're not a vet.
No, I've never been in service. I was lucky. My number in 1971, my lottery number was 249, so I wasn't going to go to into the military, and I was able to go on and seek my career. I've met certain people along the way who helped me out in my career. If I became a vet, I would never have met those people because life is, by chance. You meet people at certain places and times. And so if I went off to the service, let's say I went into the Army because they wouldn't take me in the Marines. If I survived it, depending on what happened, and I like to say I'm pretty strong-minded, but you never know. You never know what, in talking to Trent, he talked about in the film that, he was busy, bullets are flying around, and he's busy trying to save lives there as a medic, and he was praying that he'd get killed right away. I mean, it was a horrible experience, and he, as you could tell in the film, he goes, I don't like to think about it, and that's what keeps me going. So he must have seen, well, I know that he did see there in the river that goes through Saigon. I don't know if it's the Saigon River or what, but they would be out there to help some of the guys, who are been injured, to give them some recreation, and there'd be bodies there floating down the river. So it was a horrible experience for these guys. So think about it. Their timeline was completely interrupted. When they got out of service, all their friends had already moved on with their careers.
Do you have a different perspective in terms of veterans?
Yeah, the majority of not homeless, yes, the majority of homeless are veterans. And that's nothing new. We haven't been taking care of our veterans very well. After World War II, there were 69,000 veterans that were homeless during the Truman administration. during the Depression, 250,000 just in Chicago alone. So we haven't really been taking care of the veterans at all. I think it was President Polk when the veterans from World War II marched on Washington D.C. What did they do? They were met with bullets. You know, so our veterans been treated like crap.
Okay. You know, I really appreciate this video, this movie. I think that the folks here in Mariposa and the rest of the world are going to gain a lot from what you've done here. This is, I think, a very important production.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Bye bye.